Today I'll be showing you how to make an 8-page Instabook out of one folded sheet of paper. First I'll show you a couple examples. This is a risograph printed book in 2 colors. And the way that this structure works is all of the images are printed on one side of the paper. It's folded, a slit is cut in the middle, and then it's assembled into the book form. So the insides of the pages are kind of hidden, so that side of the paper is not utilized. Everything is on the same side of the paper and set up in a very specific arrangement so that it folds correctly into your page order. You could fold your page first into the book and then create your content, but this is great because you can run your sheet of paper through a printer or a press, print all 8 pages at once, and then assemble it into your book. These are some printed examples from my student work. These are 2-color letterpress prints. So the entire page was run through the press just twice and then folded and cut down to make the book. So same thing, this is 2-color letterpress print, printed on the sheet, 2 runs through the press to get the 2 colors, and then folded down. So when you're printing on a letterpress, you want to make sure that your type and your images are lining up exactly on each page where you want them to be. So it's helpful to create a folded mock-up and make sure that every page lines up correctly before you run your prints. But if you're doing any other sort of medium, you can sketch it out first. You want to have a couple extra pieces of paper to fold a dummy first so you know how it works, and then make sure your pages come out in the correct order. So this template shows you the page numbers. So the front cover and the back cover, pages 1 and 8, are next to each other. They're going to fold over and create the outside of the book. And then the other pages are folded on the inside. So I'll walk you through the steps. This template will be available on Blackboard. But first thing you're going to do is fold along the center, and you'll crease this with your bone folder. And then I unfold it, and then I'm going to fold in half the other way. So I've created 2 creases so far. First I'm making all my creases, and then I'll be assembling the book. Then the 2 sides would get folded in, unfolded, then the cut here will be made with an X-Acto knife. And then the way to fold it is fold it in half long ways and kind of squish it towards the middle. Make sure you have pages 4 and 5 in the middle, and then fold it over on itself. So I will go through this a couple of times with blank paper so that you can see that again. So with the blank paper, first I'm going to fold it in half lengthways, so a hot dog fold. You want to get your folds nice and sharp, so use a bone folder to crease that fold. Now, the way that you do the folds is also somewhat important. So this is my content side of the paper. So I've creased it so that the content is still visible on the outside. I'm going to do the same thing short ways, a hamburger fold. Crease this again. And then I can keep this folded and fold these 2 sides in. So I'm folding the left-hand side in to meet the middle, flipping it over, and then turning the right-hand side in to meet the middle. And the more precise you are with your folds, the nicer your book will assemble together. So try to keep all of your folds perfectly square and even and straight. I'm going to unfold everything, and I'm going to make 1 cut. So the cut is going to be the middle 2 pages here along my fold. So it helps to pre-fold your pages and then make the cut. So I'm going to line my ruler up right against that fold. I'm going to extend ever so slightly beyond this first fold here, about 1/16 of an inch, cut down through the 2 panels and just over this 3rd fold here. So I want my cut to extend just a little bit beyond. It just will make it easier to fold. Now once I have that cut, I'm going to fold it back along my first crease lengthwise. You'll see the middle wants to kind of open up like a diamond shape. Then you squish the pages together. And then you're going to find your front cover and your back cover and fold it over on itself. And then smooth everything flat. This is where the preciseness of your folds will kind of come into play. If anything's a little crooked, your pages might kind of bunch up and be creased incorrectly. So gently kind of flatten it out, and then you can take your bone folder and recrease all of the pages to get a nice sharp fold. And then you have your visible pages, your front and your back covers. So I'll do that again, and I will mark on this. We'll just pretend that this is my final content. So this is my front cover here. And my back cover is right next to it. Pages 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all laid out in a row. You could have content that kind of goes across the entire pages. But this really is viewed more as a folded book. So your pages 2 and 3 would be viewed together, and 4 and 5 would be viewed together. And then 6 and 7 back up to page 8, which is your back cover. So again, once I have my content ready to fold, I'm going to start by folding it lengthwise. I really want to make sure that my corners are lined up. You want to make sure that your paper, when you trim it down to whichever size you'd like to start with, is perfectly square. If anything's a little off, that will show up in your final book. I'm going to unfold the first fold and fold it again in half the other way. And then the left-hand side will fold in towards that middle crease. Flip the book over. The right-hand side will fold in towards the middle crease. So when I unfold it, I can see the creases where all the pages are. Now I need to make my cuts. Again, I'm going to line my ruler up right on that first fold and extend my cut just beyond the first and the third creases here. About 1/16 of an inch. You don't want to do much more than that, but just a little bit beyond will make it easier to assemble. So I've got my cut. I'm going to fold it in half long ways first. It'll diamond out like that. I'm going to squish it together. If you're having trouble getting everything to lay flat at this stage, you can really squish it down and make sure that everything's lining up. And then this is my front cover and my back cover, so these will fold around the book. And then I will flatten it carefully, take my bone folder, recrease all the pages. So this works best with a thinner paper. The drawing weight paper we've been using is great for this. Any type of thicker paper, you're going to have more difficulty folding it around itself because you have all these pages meeting up here at the spine. So a thinner paper, copy paper, computer paper is great. This paper size starts with an 8.5 by 14 sheet, so a legal size piece of paper. If you fold an 8.5 by 11 down, you're going to end up with very vertical pages. So I would recommend getting a paper that's a little bit longer. So the 8.5 by 14 is great. You could also try 11 by 14, 11 by 17, any size paper that is easy for you to acquire. So that is the Instabook. It's a neat way to get a book out of one sheet of paper with 8 pages and enough room for a front and a back cover.